Well, hello, class. Today, I'm going to talk to you about parts of speech. Now, I should point out to you that you're definitely going to have to know all the parts of speech by the end of the year. So you should probably take notes on this, help reinforce it in your brain, help keep it there. Now, the parts of speech there are 8 of them. And the reason they're called parts of speech is because every single word that we use is one of the 8 parts of speech. You can classify every single word as one of the 8. Sometimes they even can be more than one. We won't get that deep into it, not today at least, but let's talk about the parts of speech. Now, there are 8, and I do expect you to memorize or know them by the end of the year. One way that I memorize them is I group them up, what part of speech would hang out with what other parts of speech? If this were a party and there were invitation lists, who would be going to what party and so forth. So I'm going to list all 8, and then I'll talk about how I group them, or simultaneously I'll do it. So first off, let's hit the part of speech that everybody knows. The one that everybody seems to know is the noun. In this party, in the noun party is what I call this first one. In the noun party, you also have pronouns. That's a noun that went to college. I'm joking. You know better than that. We can also talk about adjectives. This makes up the noun groups: nouns, pronouns, adjectives. And so I'm just going to lump that together because all 3 of these parts of speech definitely have things to do with one another. The next group that I want to talk to you about, and the second most popular part of speech, is the verb. Now, can you think about one that we'd add to the verb group? You and back. Yes. The adverb. And this makes up the verb group. So we have the noun group, the verb group. I call the last group the shun group because they all end in the same 4 letters. So T-I-O-N, T-I-O-N, T-I-O-N. The first shun that we can talk about is the conjunction. And we can also talk about the preposition. And the last shun, the one that people tend to forget, is the interjection. So there's your 8 parts of speech. And like I said, they hang out in groups because they have stuff to do with one another, like noun, pronouns, and adjectives all go together. Verbs and adverbs go together. Conjunctions, prepositions, and interjections don't necessarily go together, but hey, they all end in the same way. It's just an easy way that I have figured out to memorize it for myself. And I think it could work for you as well. So let's talk about and define what each one of these are. So a noun, that's one of those things that you probably remember from as a little kid coming up. I mean, I remember it from when I was like in 3rd grade or something like that, 2nd grade even. The definition of a noun, let's say it together, is a person, place, or thing. And they've added in idea. So person, write this down, place, thing, or idea. A person, place, thing, or idea. I like to say about nouns that nouns are anything you can grasp, anything you can touch. Noun, 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 noun. I guess it doesn't work as well when it comes down to ideas, because how do you grasp freedom? So nouns are person, place, things, or ideas. Pronouns, on the other half, on their behalf, they replace nouns. Pronouns replace nouns, and I like pronouns a lot because they are economical and efficient when it comes to language. Consider this. Imagine every time that I had to bring up our class, I had to go through and name every student in class and myself. Instead, I can just say, we, right? Imagine if I couldn't use the pronoun I every time I was talking about myself, and I had to go like Mr. Tantler says this because Mr. Tantler feels that, and that is what Mr. Tantler wants from you. It gets clunky, it gets weird. Pronouns are awesome. So pronouns are any of those words that replace nouns, like for instance, we, they, she, he, all of those types of words, us, any word that essentially takes place of a noun is a pronoun. Adjectives describe nouns. Now I like adjectives because they help make our world a little bit more colorful, a little bit more entertaining. So adjectives describe nouns. For instance, what if I came up to you and I told you I had a dog? It's kind of boring. Like, how could I make that better? Now, what if I told you that at one point in time in my life, I had a red and white, blind, deaf, 18-year-old, happy, stinky, mysterious, loyally proud, and ultimately adorable dog? I love him. His name was Hulky, by the way. Basset Hound, just great, right? The idea that I can add to and help describe an item, help describe a noun by using adjectives makes things a little bit more entertaining and not so boring. So go adjectives. So that is our noun group. Things, words that replace things, and words that describe things. That's our noun group. So moving along in the parts of speech, now we're going down to the verb group. When it comes to the verb group, there are only two. I think we all know what a verb is. That was easy enough. And like noun, that was drilled into our head from a short height, a young height. Maybe that's better. No offense, short people. So verb, what is a verb? They're actions. It's what we do. So right now I am verbing here. I'm verbing here. Verbing. Verb, and so forth and so on. So verbs are all the things we do, and you might be looking at me now going, and that's a verb too. Good. Thank you for participating. Way to go. Now, what is an adverb? Hey, this is one of the best words ever because it does exactly what it does in the word. It adds to a verb. Or to be more specific, like adjective, an adverb describes a verb. So it describes how you do things. So for instance, I can talk loudly. Loudly is my adverb. Or I can talk quietly. Quietly is my adverb in that case. So like adjectives, I've always found that adverbs help bring a little richness to the language, help make things a little bit more interesting. Like for instance, I could tell you that in high school, I ran. Or I could tell you that in high school, I sloppily, oddly, sadly, and mysteriously ran. Kind of paints a better picture, doesn't it? I think so. So adverbs add to verbs. They describe verbs, and that is our verb group. Verbs and how we do the verbs. Now, most likely you're going to have adverbs ending in the two letters L and Y. Wildly, quickly, quietly, loudly. All of those are good examples of that. Now, conjunctions. Bring two parts together. Conjunctions bring two parts together. So, for instance, the most popular conjunctions can be understood with the term fanboys. Or, and, nor, but, or. Got it. Lacking it. Yet, so. So what conjunctions do is bring two parts of a sentence together or two items within a sentence together. They are the connecting tissue between parts of sentences. They're the bridge between two parts or two items. They're the gap closer. They are a conjunction. If you think about what a junction is in a road, that's when two roads come together, right? So conjunction does the same thing, brings two parts together. Moving along, preposition. Prepositions are words that indicate direction or association. Don't abbreviate that last word. So indicates direction or association. Make sure you're writing this down. You writing this down? So prepositions indicate direction or association. So right now I'm in front of you. Now I'm behind you. Above, under, within, like how two different items associate with each other, like in proximity or closeness, or where something is in comparison to other things. That is what a preposition is. Indicates direction and how items in the sentence are connected and clicked together. Last one is interjection. And these are one or two word sayings. One or two word sayings, popular in our culture, popular use. We use interjections quite a bit, right? Right? Come on. Yeah. Of course. Interjections are just kind of those little sayings, those things that you blurt out from time to time. Hey, yo. All right. Things like that. So there you have it. There's our shuns. Conjunctions bringing two parts together, prepositions indicating direction or association, and the interjection. And those are one or two word sayings. And there is all 8 parts of speech: noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, conjunction, preposition, interjection. Remember, every single word that we use, either that comes out of our mouth or is written on a page somewhere, or on the internet somewhere, I guess, is one of the parts of speech. And quite frankly, the better you get at understanding how these things operate, the easier it is to read things, the easier it is to understand what other people are trying to write or say to you. So start digging into those, get working on those. I do have a worksheet that is associated with this video and these ideas. So make sure you sit down and you get that done. Take your time. It's pointless to just rush through something and not actually gain the knowledge out of it. It's worth taking the extra time and walking away with something in your noodle. So please do that. And by the way, be kind to the sub, whoever they are, and we'll be seeing you soon. And